I want to talk tonight about adhering to a program, right? So if you had a plan that you believed in and you executed it perfectly, do you think that would equate to tremendous results? Duh, right? So tonight I want to talk about how to absolutely crush that good program in order to maximize the results that you are capable of getting in the fastest time frame possible without sacrificing any quality. So, as you guys may or may not know, this week I had a pretty crazy personal revelation. I haven't personally done a fitness program of any kind in a while. I've done many in the past for bodybuilding, for powerlifting, for racing, you name it. But the last few years, I've really been focusing on other meaningful pursuits while maintaining my health, which is great health, just kind of on the back burner, on autopilot, pretty effortlessly. And that's where all of you guys are going to be one day soon. But as many of you know at this point, me and Cameron have been really busy at work, researching ways to balance our hormones, improve our fertility, because we've been wanting to start a family now for over 7 years. And so you can assume how passionate I've been in researching and finding a good path and a good program to do just that. I want one that aligns with my beliefs and one that I can fully get behind 100%. And after so much research, right, so much trial and error, so many doctor's visits, we finally have a plan that we believe in. It's nutrition, exercise, lifestyle, medical, you name it. So here's my revelation. I started my plan this week on Monday, and I thought it would be a difficult transition going from kind of like maintenance mode or autopilot mode to on a program mode, right? And you'd probably think the same. I watch women every single week transition into my program, right? Here, like you guys, going from autopilot in a way, right, to how you're used to being on a program mode. And there's always this transitionary period, and it's typically not super fun. And while I recognize that it's unavoidable that change is going to cause disruption, but I realized this week that that disruption doesn't have to look how it always so often looks. We don't have to struggle as much as we often do. We don't have to fight ourselves as much as we often do, and we don't have to crash and burn as much as we often do. So this week, I actually feel so much more free. I have so much more confidence and so much more hope because I have a plan, and it's one I believe in. Because wandering around aimlessly isn't fun for anyone. But having answers is, and having a plan is even better, because a plan is going to get me to where I want to go. And that is tremendously exciting, right? Obviously, there's some growing pains, but it's hardly noticeable because I'm so excited, because I'm so confident. And that's because I did my research. It's because I chose my program and my coach wisely, even though it might have taken years to find. And that confidence has allowed me to fully commit, and I'm willing to be coachable, give myself over to the plan, and execute that plan as it's meant to be done. And because of all of that, I know that I'm guaranteed to see a result of some kind. And that's going to be a huge leap forward to me starting a family. So this wasn't me starting a program in the sense of losing freedom, which is how I think we so often feel when we start a program, even if it's something that you really want. I felt quite the opposite this week. I felt like this was week one of me actively pursuing something incredibly meaningful. And it makes me want to make the most out of every hour of every day. And it made me feel like I already won, and that I just needed to take the steps until it was time for me to actually hold that prize. And I want the same for you guys, because the same is true for you. Right now, you might not be at your ideal body weight, and you might not feel as good as you want to feel, but you're on that path, and you're going towards that right now. So why not walk as if you've already won? Because you have. If you walk with that mindset, then adhering to this program can feel just as exciting and just as confidence inspiring as adhering to mine feels for me. So that's what I want to unpack tonight. So I want to apply this to your story so that you can have the same revelation that I got to have this week and enjoy the benefits of a program without the overwhelm or the disruption that's typically associated with starting something new. So, right, let's say someone has a goal of losing 30 pounds and they're ready to get started. What's the typical sequence of events that happens when someone makes that decision? They probably do a little research, check out their options, find a good plan or program, sign up and start, right? Sounds about right. 4 steps: research, decision, commitment, execution. So understand if you kind of, mess up, quote unquote, any of those steps, it's going to result in issues with your experience, issues with your adherence, your consistency, and therefore your results. So if you want to be confident in your plan and execute it easily and get the results and enjoy the process, we need to take a deeper look at each step. So first, I mentioned researching. So researching a plan, that requires interest and dedication. If you don't have interest, you're not going to invest much effort into your research and you're going to lack clarity. And if you're not dedicated, same thing. So if you've done your research from a true place of self-interest and dedication, then you're going to gain maximum confidence and clarity, which are necessary for choosing a good plan. So if you rush the research process and choose a plan too quickly or even just haphazardly, you're either going to just choose a bad plan or you're going to lack confidence and carry that doubt with you throughout the whole process and ultimately be unable to execute your plan, which is tied to your results. So if you're in the research stage, foster great interest and dedication towards yourself, towards finding what you need. You'll know you've done enough thinking and researching when it becomes clear what type of program, plan, or coach will meet that need. Then you won't be just looking, you'll be looking for something specific. And that's when you're ready to make a decision, which is step 2, choosing a plan. This takes discernment and clarity, right? Clarity is achieved in your research. You can't have discernment without clarity. And discernment is interesting. I learned it's not just about knowing the difference between right and wrong. It's also knowing the difference between what's right and what's almost right. So based on your research, you should have a clear idea of what you're looking for and what you're not. And once you're clear on that, you just need to, flex your discernment muscles and not settle for anything less than exactly what you need, right? If you choose a plan that goes against your gut or something you felt pressured into, you're going to carry that doubt with you throughout the whole process. And what did we just learn? It's going to affect your ability to execute, which is going to affect your results. So gain maximum clarity in your research. And once you know what you want, once you know what you're looking for specifically, don't settle for anything less when it comes to choosing. It is out there. Do not settle. And once you find it, commit to it boldly and move forward with zero doubt, which is step 3. So third is committing to a plan. This takes bravery and courage. Leaving your doubts behind is an active thing. If you took your time researching and took your time choosing, the commitment part should be very easy. If you have any issues with confidence, you have to go back to the drawing board and make sure that you've done the research and that you've gotten the clarity and that you've chosen correctly. Because if you're constantly wondering if the program you chose is going to work, I've seen this so many times, I guarantee it's going to cause problems with you executing the program as it's meant to be done. And because of that, you're not going to see much of a result. And sometimes this turns into a vicious cycle where you start to believe your lack of results is because of the program rather than your lack of adherence. And that's when you start program hopping and eventually believe that nothing works. Confidence is required for adherence, and adherence is required for results. So if you're lacking confidence, Find out where that lack of confidence is coming from so that you can adhere. It's just like being in a relationship, right? You can go on tons of dates. They can do all the right things, but there's always going to be a reason to doubt. We're really good at finding doubts as humans. So at some point, you're going to have to gather enough information. And at some point, once you've gathered enough evidence, you just need to decide whether you're going to commit or not and take that leap. So ask yourself, right? Entering into a program is kind of like a relationship. Do you have a great plan in front of you, but you're simply needing to be brave and courageous and go all in? Or do you have a bad plan that needs dumping? If you need more clarity, then do more research. If you need more information, go gather it. But if you know you've got a good plan and you're just scared to go all in, it's okay. It's really hard, but be brave. Take the leap. And remember, nothing changes if nothing changes. So once you've truly committed, and I'm talking wholeheartedly and entirely, it's time to execute. So fourth and finally, executing a plan takes 3 things: skill, trust, and coachability. If you have maximum information, maximum clarity, maximum confidence in the path that you've chosen, all that's left is executing. Okay, so if you're struggling with execution, it's usually because of one of 3 things: a lack of skill, a lack of trust, or a lack of coachability. So first, do you have the skills? Do you have the organizational skills to integrate this plan? Do you have the scheduling skills, the planning skills, the follow-through skills required? If you're lacking any of the necessary skills to crush a plan, then you just need some help from someone who has those skills. So if you have a good coach who has those skills, use them. But if you use them and don't listen to them, you might have a trust or a coachability issue. So let's unpack that. Starting with trust. Ask yourself, do I trust my coach or my plan? Is this trust or lack of trust because of them or me? Do I doubt their credibility, or am I simply unwilling to trust? Right? If you're lacking trust towards a program or a coach or a process, then you need to discern whether the things you're being asked to do are harmful, or if you just need to be brave and commit to trust the process if it's been proven to work. So change is scary. To decide to change is one of the bravest things you can do. So really ask yourself, if you're struggling with trust, just giving in, are your senses telling you that this is a bad plan? Or is this just new unknown territory? If it's a bad plan, trust your gut. But if this is just new and unknown, that needs bravery to overcome. Just remember at the end of the day that trust is a decision, not a feeling. So think on that. And then if your coach and your plan are good and they're worthy of your trust, you decide to trust, you need to commit to being coachable. Being coachable is asking yourself things like this. Are you open-minded to new things? Are you willing to question your ways of thinking and your ways of behaving? Are you willing to admit you might be wrong in what you need to do or how you need to do it? And even, are you ready to change? You can be very intelligent, you can have tons of personal experience, but we can only get ourselves so far. At some point, we need someone who's a little farther along to pull us above and beyond ourselves. Because left to our own devices, we only grow and expand so much. We need something outside of us to truly pull us towards reaching our full potential. So if you've committed to a coach that you trust, just let them coach you. If you're not coachable, no coach can help you, no mentor can help you. You must be first willing to change, and this requires self-awareness and humility, and a true desire to better yourself rather than just be right or know the most. Okay, you can either better yourself or be right all the time. Pick which one you want to die on. If you have full trust and you commit to being coachable, then You can learn any skill necessary to execute your program easily and quickly, so long as you're also communicative, okay? So, wrap this up. Just like I realized this week when I started my program, aligning yourself with a good coach and a good program can be the most exciting and the most confidence-inspiring time of your life. It doesn't have to be hard or heavy or challenging. Once you know what you want, once you find it, once you commit to it, and then use your coach and your program to learn how to execute it, you're on the fast track to an amazing transformation. Thank you so much for watching. We truly hope you enjoyed that lesson. So every single week we make room for one guest spot on these support calls. So if you'd like the opportunity to attend, ask questions, receive coaching, just hit the link in the description box, or you can head over to gainslinger.com/coach me. Once again, that's Gainslinger, GAINSLINGER.com/coach me, all one word. Have a blessed day and we'll see you next week.